Hi, my great people. This is Class Healing Shatter, the home of entertainment matters, politics, relationship, and trending news, guys. So, there is this story that has been breaking the internet, and it is about Alexx Ekubo and Fancy. So, Alexx Ekubo is one of the Nigerian actors who has been gracing our screens with a lot of good movies. He has actually been acting as a playboy. So, for me, when I saw this story, I was also shocked. I think, like a majority of you were shocked. But at the same time, I don't really like blaming, because the way our society is structured, if you've been watching my videos, you must have seen that I'm that kind of a person that really advocates for restructuring of the African society. Because you see, in Africa, there's so much pressure on different things. When it comes to relationships, there's pressure that people should get married to people of the opposite gender. You see, my people, it is not always the case. People are living double life. Others are just like breaking hearts because they are not in a position to live their reality. So now, this case of Alexx Ekubo and Fancy is one of them. So she actually stated that she dated Alexx Ekubo for 5 years, and she only later realized he was attracted to someone of the same gender as himself, and not her. So she stayed in that relationship without any intimacy in the sense of it, the way we know it. So, my people, one thing that I wanted to say is not to repeat what others have said, because there's so much that has been said about this story of Alexx Ekubo. For me, I just want to just talk a little bit about some of the things that someone at least should ask during the dating time. You see, when you are dating, it is important to ask someone that you are dating, whether it's a lady or a man, whether they are attracted to someone of the same gender. Understand that depth. It is important. It's an important question to ask. It's time we stopped this naivety, and we also stopped being like living this kind of life where we assume, because we found people in the church and we see them praying, crying, falling down inside church because that they are 100% perfect. That is the story that we have been following over time, and that I can call it the story of the naive girl that is dating a guy, or the naive boy that is dating a girl. So let's be open-minded. At least this thing is something that has been happening in developed world. They've acknowledged it. They've come up with laws to protect people that are attracted to the same gender, and they don't feel ashamed about it. And it's a work in progress to ensure inclusion of everyone. And we know religion comes out strong on these issues, especially regarding same gender type of relationships. But I want to say something about this issue. Let it not be like in Africa, we are always the last people to accept things. We want to say it is foreign. But if you go down the memory lane in our history, you will find that these things existed, but people were simply banished from our communities, and that's why a lot of people hide it. And because of the kind of shaming and judgmental society that we live in, there is so much that has not been said. There is so much that is covered. So people tend to do it hiding because they are afraid of the way people will judge them. You see, for us, when I look at us, the way we relate with each other, especially among our African communities, we don't know how to mind our business. You find people poking every single day. They want to find out, how are you doing? How is your family? They will poke until you are too exhausted with their talk. When you meet them, it doesn't matter where they come from in Africa. They want to find every single detail about your life, which I think is not a good thing, because that just shows you don't know how to mind your own business. Because the moment you get that information that someone is giving you, how do you consume it? It is just to pass a judgment that your family is either doing fine or you're not taking care of your family. So my people, ladies and guys alike, when you are dating, ask important questions. Ask someone, are you attracted to somebody of the same gender? Find out that information. If you get to know that this person is attracted to somebody of the same gender, then you are in a position to also leave the relationship. Ask those questions. Don't be ashamed. It's important because it's for the sake of your life. So, at the same time, ask the question whether this person wants to have kids? And if they want to have kids, how many of them? And would they want to be involved in taking care of the kids? For us women, we don't ask those questions because we assume naturally that every African man that we meet, they are ready to take care of their kids. That's not how it is. Whether you find them in the middle of the church preaching, you need to ask them questions. Because sometimes we can assume that this is what happens. And in reality, that is not what happens. Get also to know the place of kids in the culture of this man. For example, if you're getting married or you are dating an Igbo man, like is a tribe in Nigeria. I don't know about others, but there are some communities where you find that kids belong to the women as long as they did not pay your dowry. So whether you married in court, whether you married where the elders did not see your people, they did not bring dowry, those children are yours, 100%. So get to understand somebody's culture, especially if you are cross-cutting culture that you don't really understand. In Kenya, for example, the Luya communities, you find a child belongs to the father. So any child that is born with a Luya person, with a Luya, you give birth with a Luya woman, that child belongs to you as a man. So you need to ask questions. Let us not be naive. Let us not be overwhelmed with the so-called love, emotions, and everything during dating that we forget these very important nitty-gritties. Very important. So at the same time, ask questions about how this person plans to live. Like, does he plan to live with you in the same house as you grow your family, or they prefer to live in a different city as you're taking care of your child? Because it's important to know this information. And also ask him whether he is interested in marrying another woman, so that you can know whether he's on the way of what he thinks about polygamy, so that you are not shocked inside the marriage that somebody went and brought another woman and you are there wailing. Talk to them, because that dating period is a time to discuss everything. Finances, know how you are supposed to invest. When you invest, how are you going to invest? Is it the man that should do the investments, or both of you should do investments, so that you can know whether this is a relationship worth going forth with, or it's something that you want to drop immediately, so that you don't waste a lot of time. You see, for us in Africa, we live double lives. There are a group of people that live double lives, and it's because of the judgmental type of society that we have. So, can we, for once, want to live in reality, the way reality is, at least? Because now it's unfortunate that our leaders don't recognize that there are people that are attracted to the same gender. Unfortunate. But these people are also unfortunate. But these people are also taxpayers. And it's because of religion. And for the religious leaders, some of them are even also living double life. It is until one religious leader comes out to say, we acknowledge it because he is doing it, or they are doing it, or she is doing it, that it's going to be acceptable. You see, let me tell you, sometimes we blame our politicians, but religion also plays a very big role in our lives. And I'm not trying to advocate for things that people don't want to advocate for, but at least let's recognize the minority, and let's also be realistic. Let's just wake up from this nightmare so that we can move on and concentrate on eradicating poverty. We don't keep... a story like this, Alexx Ekubo and Fancy, dating for 5 years and not having intimacy in the sense in which we expect it, it's not supposed to be something that should be overbloated, because it's supposed to be a reality among us. It is happening, and this kind of diversity recognition by our leaders and inclusion of people in our communities without judgment is what Africa needs to accept. No matter how much we try to refuse it, it is existing. You see, for us, we had rather just see it and keep quiet about it, not talk about it, because it's a no-go zone. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So our leaders keep rubbishing it and saying it's a non-issue, but it's not a non-issue. It's a very big issue because kids are being born in relationships that are like that, and they end up losing parents, and we don't bring a healthy society up. We need families that are strong, that can be able to bring up kids well, so that we can be able to have lesser and lesser traumatized kids growing up, you know? So, because you can be there in a relationship with someone for 5 years, they are not ready to commit. In fact, when you talk about marriage, they jump up and down. And you don't understand why. Most probably, they may not even be attracted to you. They may be attracted to somebody else who is of the same gender as them. Because anybody that wants to marry, it won't take them 5 years to decide. It is marriage they want. So my people, I don't know what you think about this issue, but I just saw need to just put my comment and my voice on it, and to also in support of the LGBT community. And yeah, because I mean, there's no point judging other people. There's no point meddling and putting our judgments on and views on other people's business. If they have decided to live in a certain way, it is important to respect their choices. We have been given the free will to choose what we want to do. And it is time all of us, especially in our very small sub-communities, because this thing spans all the way. Even if you go to diaspora, you find people being too judgmental. We will still live in small communities where people are busy judging others without necessarily knowing the depth of the issue that someone is struggling with. And we are seeing relationships struggling. People are even losing life in such relationships because of that. And it affects either party badly, especially their self-esteem. I don't know what you guys think, but you can leave us your comment below. Let's know what you think, and let's see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.